Hey, welcome to the team. We're so glad you're here at Everyday NZ. In this quick explainer, we're going to dive into one of our most essential processes, incident management. This is basically our playbook for how we handle challenges, learn from them, and just keep getting better. So let's start with the big question. What happens when things go wrong? Because look, no matter how well we build our systems, sometimes things break. A campaign might not go to plan, or a platform might have a little hiccup. So what do we actually do when that happens? The most important thing to get your head around is that our goal is never to panic. Instead, think of it like a fire drill. It's all about having a structured, calm, and practiced plan ready to go. This process isn't just about fixing problems. It's about creating stability and confidence for our teams and, of course, for our customers. Now, a process or a rulebook can't possibly cover every single situation that might pop up, and that's exactly why we're guided by a core philosophy. These principles are what empower everyone on the team to make smart decisions when it really matters most. And here they are, our 3 core values. First step, detect. Our goal is always to catch issues with our own monitoring and alerts before a customer ever has to tell us something's wrong. Second, respond. The first people on the scene won't always have all the answers, so we have a huge culture of don't ever hesitate to escalate. And finally, recover. Stuff happens, right? Our immediate focus is always on a quick cleanup to get service back to normal, but recovery also means we learn from what happened so we can stop it from ever happening again. Okay, so with those values in mind, let's take a little tour through the life of an incident here at Everyday NC. We're going to look at what an incident is, what it isn't, and the journey it takes from the moment we spot it to the moment we resolve it. All right, let's get the official definition out of the way. It's simple, but it's really powerful. An incident is basically any event that causes an unscheduled disruption or a drop in the quality of one of our services. This could be anything from a tech issue stopping logins to a marketing campaign accidentally hitting the wrong audience. Now, just as important is knowing what an incident isn't. Think of our process like a filter. We want to make sure we filter out things like known bugs that already have a workaround, or requests for new features, or if your laptop is just acting up. Those things all have their own channels. This keeps our incident response team laser-focused on only the most critical service disruptions. Okay, this slide gives you the bird's eye view of our whole approach. Now, it might look a little complicated at first, but the key takeaway is that every single incident follows a predictable path. It's not chaos, it's a clear, repeatable life cycle, all the way from the start to the postmortem at the end. Let's break that diagram down into 4 main stages. It all kicks off with initiation. That's when an incident is detected and reported. Then we jump right into fixing, which is, the heart of the response. Once the immediate fire is out, we call it resolved. But, and this is so important, we're not really done until we hit that final stage, the post-incident review, or PIR. That's where the real learning happens. Okay, so that's the big picture. But where do you fit into all of this? Let's talk about your role, which is honestly the most crucial part of getting this whole process started. All right, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Your most important job is to sound the alarm. If you see something, say something. Seriously, every single person on the Everyday NZ response team is responsible for raising a formal incident the second they spot something that doesn't look right. And we try to make it as easy as possible. During business hours, it's a simple 3-step process. First, you navigate to our internal incident form. Second, you fill it out with as much detail as you possibly can. Screenshots are always helpful. And third, you just post a quick message in our public ops Slack channel to make sure the right team sees it immediately. And here it is, the actual guide from our documentation. As you can see, it lays out these steps perfectly. And check out that important note down at the bottom. If you think an incident is really high priority, you should raise it directly with your chapter lead. This guide is going to be your go-to resource. Great. So you've done your part. You sounded the alarm. What happens now? Who picks up the ball and starts running with it? Let's meet the key players who are going to jump into action. First up is the EDR operations team. The best way to think of them is like the dispatchers or the triage nurses in an ER. They're the very first ones to review a new incident, and their job is to confirm it's real, figure out how serious it is, and then get it on the right path to get fixed. Once an incident gets escalated, an incident commander, or IC, takes the lead. This is the single person responsible for coordinating absolutely everything. They're not necessarily the one in the weeds fixing the code, but they direct the entire response. They manage all the communications, and they see the incident all the way through to the end. And finally, we have the incident response team. These are the hands-on experts, the fixers. The incident commander pulls this team together, and they have all the technical skills and system knowledge to dig in, find the root cause, and actually implement the solution. But just fixing the problem is really only half the battle. The most valuable part of this whole thing is closing the loop, making absolutely sure that we learn from every single incident so we don't make the same mistake twice. And that's why an incident is never truly completely over until we finish the post-incident review, or PIR. This is where we break down the entire timeline, figure out what went well, what could have gone better, and then create real, concrete action items to improve our systems and our processes for next time. This quote right here really gets to the heart of our culture. The goal of a post-mortem is never to point fingers or assign blame. It's all about having a blame-free, open, transparent discussion that's focused on just one thing: continuous improvement. It's really how we get better together. Ultimately, this whole process is how we learn and grow as a company. Every incident you raise isn't just a problem. It's a massive opportunity for us to become stronger, faster, and more reliable. So, are you ready to help us improve? Welcome aboard.